Hey guys, this is Matthew here. I just want to do a quick review of the Lonex A2 motor. This is an infinite torque motor capable of pulling an M170 spring. This motor will give you a higher rate of fire. You'll be capable of pulling a higher spring. It's a heat resistant motor, and it's made out of, or the pinion gear rather, is made out of aluminum. This motor is a very, very, very good motor. I got it for $60. I ordered it through the Airsoft store, Airsoft RUS Tactical in Burlington, North Carolina. This motor, yeah, it may have cost me $60, but this motor is very, 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 very comparable to the other motors, as in the system of motors and as well as others. This motor is the closest thing I've been able to find to a system of motor. Normally, system of motors will cost you $80 to $100, but this motor, it is just amazing. I've already owned a Lonex A1. That's a balanced motor between high torque and high speed. This motor is just the infinite torque, but when I put it in my KWA, I achieved an incredible rate of fire. And here is my KWA gearbox. What I basically did in my KWA was I put in a M120 spring. This is a Mad Bull M120 spring. As you can see, it cost me $19.95. Excuse me. With this spring, I'm going to be achieving, hopefully, I'm aiming for around 420 feet per second. The other thing I did to my my gearbox was I took my piston here. This is a JBU piston, and as you can see, it's seen a lot of wear. That's where the sector gear hits, and I have this my piston in my saw. And yeah, this piston has seen better days. But basically what I did to my piston was, in my KWA, I Swiss cheesed it. That's getting rid of any excess material on the piston. So I put two very, very big holes here on the back, and several holes in between the big holes. I also put several holes along the sides of the teeth here. And with that, it made the piston a lot lighter. The piston weighed beforehand 19 grams, and after I Swiss cheesed it, it weighed about 16 grams. Now, maybe that's a lot, maybe it's not. Maybe some people just recommend it, and maybe it doesn't make that big of a difference, but I decided to experiment and see if it does. It might be that it really just weakens the structure of your piston and you don't really achieve much of a high rate of fire whatsoever. But I decided to do it and see what happens. After frostbite, I hope to put in a KWA piston that hasn't been Swiss cheesed, and I'll compare it to the Chrono and see if it makes that big of a difference. I'm expecting maybe 2 or 3 BBs per second of a difference. Maybe even a slightly higher FPS, considering that the piston will probably be able to travel a little faster, but I don't know. That's what people say, so I decided to give it a shot. So the other thing I did to my KWA was I put plumber's putty between the cylinder and the cylinder head. Now there's a lot of excess plumber's putty outside. You can see, even from the outside of the gearbox, I have a whole lot here. This was basically to ensure that I had 100% seal between my cylinder and my cylinder head. So with that, I don't recommend it. Some people use Teflon tape. I decided, hey, why not do this? We'll see. It did make getting my gearbox together difficult. It cost me a bit of a headache, but I was able to get it together. So this is what my KWA sounds on an M120 spring and a Swiss cheese piston with a KWA high torque motor. So I'm going to have to put my iPod down because I only have 2 hands and I need to push my motor in, or else it's going to make a very awful, awful sound. So here you go. I hope you guys can hear it. So that's what my KWA sounds like on the stock KWA high torque motor and an M120 spring Swiss cheesed. Now I'm going to take the KWA high torque motor out and install the Lonex infinite torque A2 motor. I've tried to get Bill to order these motors, but he's decided to be a turkey and not order them. So hopefully this review will make him want to order them and make you want to buy one. So I just put it in, so we're going to see what it sounds like. So there you go. That's the Lonex A2 motor. I love this motor, and I hope you could hear it. It's very, very loud. So, with that, $60, you can get a very, 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 very good motor. Now, I say $60. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but that motor is very, very, very comparable to the system of motors, as I've said, and this is the motor I'm going to be recommending to people from now on. If you're having trouble with your motor grip heating up as you hold down the trigger, this is the motor to get. With this motor, you're going to get the rate of fire you want. You're going to be able to pull a heavier spring, and your motor isn't going to be heating up. So with that, I'm out. I hope you guys have a good night, and I hope this review was helpful. Have a good night.